Let's be honest here, Bangkok Island, the Green Lung, Koh Kret, totally overhyped, completely overrated, takes you all day to get there and back. How about a nice river walk, which is almost right on your doorstep? Lots more to see and do, friendly locals, hardly any tourists, plenty of street food, plus a little bit of interesting history. Well, it's about 96 degrees here on the Chao Phraya Sky Park. We're in the midst of a heat wave here in Bangkok. It's an absolute scorcher today, and that is why I'm actually standing under the bridge talking to you now. Some of you may think I'm a bit crazy for doing a walking type video in this kind of weather, but when you live here, you do actually get used to it. And today, I'm still wearing jeans. Phra Pok Bridge was built in 1982, and in the middle of it there was a railway bridge which was abandoned in 1984, and the bridge was just left to rot until 2016 when they came up with this idea to build a green space on the unused bridge. The Chao Phraya Sky Park, it is a green space, but what you lack is fresh air or peace and quiet. But it's still quite nice to sit up here and watch the sunset. So the idea of this walking tour type video is to show you as much as possible of where I'm going today. But if I showed it to you in real time, all that walking, you'll be sitting here watching for about 4 hours and will probably fall asleep. So I'm going to have to speed up parts of it, but I'll add some very tasteful music for you. If you are familiar with the area, you may well have walked through this doorway and wondered what the letters RBMCO stood for. That is the Randir Brahmakar Company Limited, a real estate business started by the Nana family in 1913. They owned a lot of the land around here all the way along the river, and this was a large community of Indians and Thai Muslims from the south who traded and worked at the many ports along the river. The doorway served as a gateway to their community, and it was moved and rebuilt here in recognition of the Nana family donating land to create the Princess Mother Memorial Park in 1993. The remnants of their old company buildings make up part of the park. Well, the Princess Mother Memorial Park is more of a pocket park, but it's still a lovely little green space, and there are some ladies over there doing yoga, so you might hear some talking in the background. Anyway, in 1993 this park was created in memory of the Princess Mother, who was the mother of King Rama IX, and in the middle of the park there's a nice little museum which documents the story of the life of the Princess Mother. This is the Gong U Shrine, the historic shrine of Lord Guan, the marital god of loyalty and righteousness. It's said to be the oldest shrine of its kind in Thailand, dating back almost 300 years to the late Ayutthaya period. And this is the shrine where King Taksin would come and worship before going into battle. Well, just outside the entrance to the shrine is this vintage 19th century house, which has a bit of interesting history behind it. It's the home of the first ever fish sauce factory in Thailand, the famous Tong brand. And they had their offices in a house which is right on the river. And this house is now a cafe restaurant called my grandparents' house, and it's still owned by the same family who started this legendary fish sauce brand. And I say legendary because I grew up with this fish sauce. I remember my mum used to have a bottle of it in the cupboard. So once upon a time, this was the bustling business district of Ta Dinh Dang Port, which grew as a result of the Boering Treaty between the Kingdom of Siam and the British Empire in 1855. This opened up free trade for foreign merchants. Well, this is the last remaining port along the riverside here in Ta Dinh Dang, and this port served Soi Changnak, lots of warehouses and factories and businesses up here through this little tunnel, and the street would have come to the end and they had steps going down to the port with lots of different ships, barges and boats picking up and dropping off all different types of cargo. Well, this was once a bustling street with Chinese and Indian traders. They had lots of different types of businesses along here. There were shops, factories, warehouses, specialist workshops. There were lots of gold traders doing business around here as well. And the name of this street, Soi Changnak, roughly translates into Goldsmith's Lane. The warehouses here date back to the late 19th century, and the ones here have got SK building written on the front. SK was Senggi, a Chinese leather manufacturers. They kept buffaloes in those warehouses and exported leather all over the world from right there at Changnak Port. The rooftops here are where they shot part of the James Bond film Tomorrow Never Dies. Well, today is another boiling hot day. I took the boat across from Ratchawong Pier to Ta Dinh Dang Pier. It's only 4 baht, and Ta Dinh Dang Road is one of the most interesting and off the beaten track, whatever you want to call it, hidden gems where tourists don't go, food markets in Bangkok. And Monday, Wednesday and Friday, sometimes Sunday, they have this amazing street food market, but it's not the kind of place you sit down and eat. It's all takeaway in bags, so you can either bring your own plates and cutlery or find a nice park to sit down and eat. I wasn't actually sure whether Long 1919 was still open because I'd read last year that they were planning to turn it into a boutique hotel, and it would actually make a very nice boutique hotel. But I saw some Google reviews that said it was open and it was very quiet, so I thought I'd come and check it out for myself. And yes, compared to 3 years ago when I was last here, it is incredibly quiet. So this historic port was opened in 1850 by Thai-Chinese businessman Priya Pisunaporn, and it served boats from British Malaya, mainland China and British Hong Kong. The name comes from the word Huang Chong Long, which is Chinese for steamboat. In 1919 it was taken over by the Wang Li family and it became the port for their agriculture business. They also built Wang Li Mansion, which is just on the other side of these warehouses, and that's still open to the public. Well, the idea was to find a shortcut through the alleyways and sois towards the old fort and the Klong San Canal. But I've gone this way, I've gone that way, I've been directed left, right, down this street, that street, down this alleyway, came to a dead end at the end of a canal. Anyway, I found a bike track marked out down some alleyway, and I've ended up next to this very nice little bridge over a very dirty canal. I suppose you could call it a bridge over troubled waters. But I'm back on track with Google Maps, and I should be able to find the way to where we got to get to. And I hope it's the right way. So I've cut through this road, and after the art gallery there's a couple of high-end places, the Banyan Tree, Barn, Chow Priya and the Quarter Hotel, and I've got to find this alleyway that the guy directed me to, and I think this is it. Well, that alleyway brought me out exactly where I wanted to be, Ladya Road. The old fort is just around the corner and we're almost at the end of the walk, but I've made a new friend, so I might be a bit delayed getting to the fort. And I gave my cat food to a bunch of cats back there, so I haven't got any left, but she looks pretty well fed and healthy, so I'll give her a few scratches and then we'll be on our way. Well, this is the final fort that I can tick off my list. There's only 3 left standing around Bangkok. This is Pong Pachawit Fort. It was built in 1852 during the reign of King Rama IV, and it was built to watch over this part of the river, and in particular the mouth of the Klong Padung Krung Kasem Canal just opposite. That canal was an important trade route around the outer edge of the city. Plus there was the threat of colonialism back in those days, particularly the French. The other 2 forts still standing here in Bangkok are Prasu Men Fort, which is round the corner from Khao San Road on the river, and Fort Mahakam, which is more or less in the shadow of the Golden Mount, Wat Saket. Nowadays those threats don't exist, and they've got a police station here anyway to watch over things. I was just about to say you get some peace and quiet here on Klong San Ferry Pier, then one of those disco cruise boats went past and totally threw me off what I was about to say. Oh yeah, that's Talat Noi over there, that's the Marine Department building. And then here, that's the Holy Rosary Church, the first Portuguese church built on the banks of the river in 1784. Then you've got River City, the Sheraton Hotel on that side, and then the Cat Telecom Tower, the Labour Estate Tower just behind it, and then just in the background you've got the Oriental Hotel. One thing you do get here is a nice breeze. Well, I can't think of a better place to end a walking video around Klong San than the mouth of the Klong San Canal, where it meets the river here. I do hope you've enjoyed watching me walk around in the hot sun for these last couple of days. If you do this walk, then please do wear shorts and take plenty of water. Anyway, please do subscribe if you haven't already done so. If you want to support the channel, you can do so via the Buy Me a Coffee link on the screen here, or there's a link to PayPal in the description. That just leaves me to say what I always say. Thanks very much for watching, and see you later.